Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I took some time off, and for me it was more personal reasons. Just I felt like spiritually I wasn't giving this channel up to God, and I was just trying to take control of it. And so yeah, I just needed some time off to like refocus, focus in on my faith a little more, and just kind of go into this with some raw faith. And so I did take some time off, but today I am 24. Today is my 24th birthday, so I decided to talk about 23 things that I learned at age 23. Now, 23 years old, I feel like that's just kind of a rough year for everyone. You know, usually you're graduated from college and you're trying to find your first job and kind of going through all this change and adjustment. And so I feel like that year is kind of hard for everyone. 23 was obviously definitely a really hard year for me. I didn't have a ton of change. I mean, I did move back home after being away from college for 2.5 years. And but 23, while I was still at school, especially last semester, was definitely tough. I got a phone call after going back to school. I was there a week, and I got a phone call from my mom saying that one of my childhood friends had committed suicide. And it was just really hard because over 8 years ago, I had lost 2 other childhood best friends in car accidents. They actually happened the same month in January, and they were 22 days apart. And it was just kind of weird because they were both best friends. And one was my next door neighbor, and the other one used to live across the street from me. And so, but anyway, when I did lose this friend, at the end of my first week of my last semester at school, it just kind of brought up all that hurt and all that pain that I thought I had gotten over from losing the other 2 previously. And so, and losing a friend to suicide is just really hard in general because, especially for me, because some things did happen between this friend and I, and we no longer spoke and hadn't spoken to each other much in the last 4 years. And so I think I just had like a lot of regret, and I was just broken. My faith struggled so much, and it wasn't like I didn't believe in God or I didn't believe in Jesus and denied them. Absolutely not. I still definitely believed in them. I believed in the gospel, all that stuff. But for me, I wasn't giving anything over to God to use. I wasn't really surrendering myself to Him, and instead I just wanted to deal with the pain on my own. I didn't want to talk about it. I still to this day don't really like talking about losing my friends or any struggles that I go through. You want people to think that you're okay and everything's good, and so you just put on this face that everything's great, and sometimes everything's not so great. And so I hid it. I hid the fact that I was not surrendering myself to God. I hid that I wasn't actually okay after losing this childhood friend for so many months. But yeah, so 23 was definitely a tough year. It was kind of tough moving back home too, just because I loved the freedom at college of being on my own, and like I felt in a way that I could just be me. And so that was really nice, being away at school. But moving back home was definitely tough as well. I mean, just like every parent, they want what's best for their child, but sometimes, they gotta let their child live a little and learn on their own. And, my parents just want the best for me, and so they've been a little controlling, and there are some things where I'm just not going to listen to them because God has kind of told me to do something else or go about something a different way. And so it's definitely been tough too. And now I just feel like, you know, my brother's home from school for the summer, and so I feel like there's no room. And just bringing all my stuff home, I'm like, there is no room for like a lot of this stuff. Like, so but yeah, so we're just gonna get right into the video because it's just what we're gonna do. So 23 things I learned. I wrote them down in my journal. It's the last couple pages in my journal. And my journal says, a place for your dreams until they come true, of course. I got this at Marshall's for pretty cheap. I go there all the time when I need a new journal. So, yeah. So, and I'll explain some of these as well. But, number one, going home for a period of time is always healthy. I found this to be so true. You know, when I did lose my friend to suicide, I just wanted to go home. And I ended up skipping class the rest of that week. And I just stayed home and tried to grieve a little bit. But also coming home for the summer, it was always nice to be home. Especially, you know, being on a team with girls and being around that. I mean, there's always some drama with it. So it was nice to just come home and see my friends from home. So yeah. Collegiate sports shouldn't control your life. That is number 2. I think I mentioned in another video that I actually became addicted to skating. And yeah, so last summer I just wanted to skate all the time, just wanted to live that life that I was living at college. And I had to work all summer, and then I realized, like, oh, I'm kind of addicted to the sport, and you know, I'm not competing next year or this past year, and so I don't need to skate that much. So it was just hard, but and I definitely spent a lot more time practicing for skating than I did in a practice room for music, and that's what I went to school for. So yeah. Number 3, competition results don't define you, don't define who you are as an athlete or your self-worth. So I actually competed when I was 22, and this kind of spiraled all through the summer. Not all through the summer. Probably after competition and the very beginning of summer. I ended up placing 6th at competition, and I was not satisfied with that. And so I let that define who I was and my worth and just who I was as an athlete. And I always wanted to go into another competition to beat that score. And so yeah, that was that. Number 4, breaks and rest are so important. This goes anywhere in life, any situation in life. You know, it's pretty straightforward. You need to take a break. You need to rest. And something like my YouTube channel and social media, sometimes I need that break from it. And so those are always nice. Number 5, money and good paying jobs don't always bring happiness. I found this to be true as well. I definitely have had jobs, you know, part-time jobs, where I am completely miserable but I make great money. And so money isn't everything in the world. You know, you definitely need it to live off of, but right now I'm working 2 part-time jobs, and I actually like both of them. They don't pay as much as my other part-time last summer, but the people that I work with are super nice. They're super chill. The environment is great. So, I mean, you know, sometimes happiness and joy have to go over money. Number 6. Number 6 is actually for me personally. I'll read it and then I'll explain. But you've lost yourself if you fall off a horse out of fear. Riding is always peaceful. So I became friends with this girl who owned a horse farm. She taught riding lessons for so many years. I met her a few years ago at a youth retreat we were helping out with. And, I was able to get on a horse and ride, and it was just so peaceful to me. It was one of those things where I had to surrender myself, and in that situation, like, to God and say, hey, like, you need to take over this, because it scares me so much and I have all this fear, but I kind of surrender that fear to God. So it takes it away, and I'm able to be at peace when I'm on a horse, and it's so therapeutic for me. But last summer, when I first came home from school and I was still in that addictive phase of skating, I ended up falling off a horse, and it wasn't anything major. The horse took a couple steps and I ended up sliding off. So that's when I kind of realized, like, okay, where am I? Like, this isn't me. And so that's when I realized I kind of lost myself a little bit. Number 7, reach out to people even if they've hurt you in the past. I definitely found this to be true. Don't act out of fear. Reach out to people if they treated you like crap maybe a day. Even if it was a relationship that didn't go so well or ended badly. So yeah. Number 8, diet is just as equally important as exercise. And I learned this last summer. Usually when I would come home, I would actually gain weight instead of lose weight. At school, I would lose weight instead of, like, gain weight, just because I was on my own and I pretty much had my own place, or I had an apartment with roommates and we just ate our own food. We didn't really share food, so I would always buy healthy food at school, and so that's why I would actually lose weight at school instead of gain weight. But then when I come home and my brother has chips and cookies and all the good tasting food that is not so great for your body. And so over the last summer, I realized, like, I was working out, but I also needed to eat healthy because my body wasn't feeling so great with the food that I was putting into it. So number 9, even a little bit of practice comes a long way. I found this to be so true with skating, but I also found it to be true with music. I practice maybe an hour or 2 hours for music, either on piano or voice, or even guitar on my own. And then, a few days later, would come to my lesson, and, my professors would say, hey, you've, like, improved a good bit. You must have, like, practiced a lot. And, I'd only practiced a couple hours, but, it still comes a long way. Number 10, procrastination won't get you very far, okay? Every college student, every high school student, people even in the workforce, procrastination is from the devil. So do not procrastinate. I learned this every semester. Every semester at the beginning of the semester, I say I'm not going to procrastinate, and I do. So this one I think I'm still learning from. Or I just don't care. I'm lazy. I don't know. Number 11, don't let other people dictate your dreams, your purpose, what God has called you to do, and whether or not you're good enough at what you're doing. So last summer, I interned at a church, not the church that I'm currently at. The church I'm currently at is when I branched off to a non-denominational church from a Lutheran church, and I'd gone there before I interned at this other church for the last 2 summers. But last summer was just a really rough summer interning. I would do these mock worship sets, and I would go in and I would have to sing the songs and know them, and I was basically told that my voice wasn't strong enough and that my dreams probably aren't going to come true because, I have a good voice, but it's not good enough, and it's a long shot. And this person also said that I still looked nervous on stage, and it was a weekend that I had asked previous youth pastors how I looked to see what they would say, and they're pretty tough about that, and they said that I looked fine. And so I think for a long time I didn't audition for anything worship, anything music related at all, because I let this person and his comments dictate my future. And so, yeah. But now that I've like kind of worked that out, I am not letting that happen anymore. So, yeah. Number 12, if God has called you to chase big dreams, do it. This is just standard. Obey God in anything that he calls you to do, even if it's crazy, even if it seems impossible. It will come to fruition if you really believe and you trust and listen to him. Number 13, your faith is everything. Like I had said, my faith, I struggled with my faith so much. And, you know, God is so great that you can just go back to him and, you know, restore your faith. And so that was, you know, it's so nice. And, you know, I just feel happier. I feel joy when I'm back and in a relationship with God again. So, number 14, God's plan and purpose for your life will come to fruition when you listen and obey him. Like I said earlier, like probably a couple before, you know, things will work out. They might not work out when you want them to or how you want them to, but as long as you obey him, you know, your dreams and your plans, they'll come to fruition. Number 15, you can listen to advice from others, but have strong discernment when making decisions, even if that advice comes from your parents. Like I said, parents love you. They want what's best for you. But discernment really is important, and I'm so thankful that God has gifted me with strong discernment to know what is right, what lines up with his word, what lines up with, you know, who God says he is and how he treats his children compared to what other people say. And so, yeah. Number 16, don't act out of fear. Reach out to old friends. That might be the last time you will ever talk to them. So I really wanted to reach out last summer to that friend that ended up committing suicide. But because things had happened to us in the past, I was really scared to. And, you know, that's something I still regret a little bit to this day, because I didn't know if I'd reach out to him over the summer. Not that I would have saved him, but that I would have at least got to talk to him and kind of pour into him a little bit one last time. Number 17, losing a friend to suicide will leave you with so much regret. There is nothing you could have done to change their minds, so don't live in that regret. You know, right after he passed away, my mind just spiraled. It felt I was going on this downward spiral. I can't really explain it other than that, where it was just like, man, I wish I would have reached out to him. You know, maybe it could have been this way if I had talked to him, or it could have been that way, or I could have talked him out of it. You know, but I do know a little bit of that mindset. Sometimes you just can't save people, and especially, you know, only God can really communicate with them in that way and be like, no, like, I have so much better for you, because God is the ultimate person. He's the ultimate helper. He's the ultimate healer. So, I learned that I needed to not live in that regret. Number 18, just because they're your teammates doesn't mean they're your friends. So I had really great teammates. They were all great people, all great Christians. But, you know, just because they're Christians doesn't mean that your personalities are just going to clash and go well together. So, I mean, God designed us differently. And so sometimes, you know, your personalities just don't clash. And I kind of felt pressured to try to be friends with everyone, but then you would see girls just not be as nice to you as some of the other ones. And I definitely do have some friends from the team, but, you know, they're not always your friends, and you can't always trust them, especially when you don't have a close bonded friendship. 19. A team with all girls will come with so much unnecessary drama. It's best to do your own thing. Yeah, I definitely found this to be true. There was one point, especially last semester, where no one was talking to me, and I didn't know what I did, and I just went, I just skated, I didn't talk to anyone. I ended up skipping workouts, and I didn't have to go because I wasn't competing, but I did feel bad because I really did like our off-ice trainer, and I didn't want to hurt him in any way by not going, and yeah, I would go during off-ice workouts, and I would skate because I was the only one on the ice. Number 20. Reach out and build a strong relationship with the people who have a strong positive influence. So, like I said, I didn't want to hurt our off-ice trainer by not going to workouts, because he's a very godly, strong, godly man, and, you know, we're close in age, so for me it was a little awkward because he's only a year older, but, you know, he's a great person, and I would have loved to have a friendship with him, so, and that goes with other people that I met at school that, like, was like, oh, I want to reach out to them, and then just never did, so, don't act out in fear, is what I have to say about that one. 21. Even strong Christians are human, not perfect, etc. Don't expect from anyone, but always go to the people who have been there since the beginning of each journey. They know you really well. So I definitely can relate. So even when this girls on this team weren't talking to me, I could always go back to my music friends that I met the very first week of school, and you know, they really know me well. I don't know that it was God's plan for me to skate necessarily at all at Liberty. You know, I don't regret anything. I'm glad I did it. It was definitely a great experience. I got to meet a lot of people, but you know, there was definitely one friend who was like, well, if this isn't God's plan, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. And I just feel like the people you meet first, especially in new environments, you know, you have to be yourself. You can't just put on this fake front of who you want to be and not who you are, really. And so you want to be yourself so that people can get to know you. And so, you know, I definitely always went back to my music friends because I found that they were the best friends that, you know, God really intended to put in my life. And also even, you know, friends that I met when I first went to the non-denominational church that I'm at now. My friend Ellie has been there pretty much since day one, and she's still there. And it's just a bonus of what I've learned. Probably not just at 23, but Ellie is always right. So, yeah. And then I also have a childhood best friend who's my next door neighbor. We've been friends since we were 2 years old, and so I always go back to her. She knows me best. She's known me for so many years, 22 years. So, you know, she knows when I need a break. She knows when I need to vent. She knows when I'm not okay. Like, all these friends pretty much know when I'm happy, when I'm not happy, when I need to talk, when I need a breather, when I need a break, you know. So I think it's just, you know, those friends that you find at the very beginning of different stages in life, most of the time are the friends that you'll have for the rest of your life. Number 22. Retirement is great, but only take a couple weeks off from eating healthy and working out. Oh my gosh, I cannot stress this enough. Student athletes, any kind of athlete, I mean, unless you train for the Olympics, you know, your first day back to working out, if you've taken months off, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be hard. It's going to be rough. And for me personally, I regret it because all the muscle that I built up last year for skating and I guess not really muscle if it was like the first week of school last semester. But all of that I lost because I stopped working out. I ate like crap and I didn't keep up with it. So, I mean, if you don't want to lose the muscle that you gained, or even if you do easier light workouts, something to get your body moving and to keep going, because now that I'm prepping for graduation on Saturday, I wanted to lose a little bit of weight, and it didn't help that I started 2 weeks ago, but it was definitely not easy getting back into working out again after a long break of just eating like crap and not working out. So last but not least, 23. And this is something that I learned last week. I guess I didn't really learn it. I just really was learning about it more and just really learning how important it really is in life. And that is, raw faith is the most important necessity when you start a new thing in life or take steps to chase your dreams. So like I said, I had taken a break from this channel just because I felt like I was just trying to control it. And I really needed to go into it with raw faith. You can't really go into things with your expectations. Chances are your expectations are not going to be fulfilled. So that was something. I mean, this channel, my dreams are crazy. I don't know how they're going to happen, but I need to really have raw faith in God. And yeah, I was listening to a series that my pastor at my church at home had preached on this past fall. I was at school, so I missed it, but I was just listening to the podcast in my car, and it really hit home for me. And so I think raw faith in every thing in life is not only important, but it's the main ingredient to getting through life, is to, you know, just put your trust in Him and really see what will happen without any expectation or anything like that. So I guess themes and takeaways that I really noticed throughout all this was faith / relationship with God is everything. That should be the foundation. If you're a Christian, that really should be the foundation of your life, your everyday life. You know, spend time in His Word, worship Him, pray, talk to Him. He wants to talk to you. That's why the Holy Spirit exists. That's why He sent the Holy Spirit once Jesus was resurrected. So he wants to talk to you. He wants to be your friend. He wants to be your helper. He wants to be your healer. He wants to be your ultimate father. You know, we have our earthly fathers, and, you know, if you lost your father, you know, God's there to be the ultimate father. He is able to direct you and guide you along the way of this crazy life in this crazy world. And so, yeah. And then the second takeaway is, well, I guess there's 3. Just kidding. So the second one is discernment and truth is so important. I think in life, especially for me as a Christian, and being so strong in my faith, you know, having that discernment in any situation is really important. In work, in home, in, you know, activities, I think is just so important that you line it up with what Scripture says, what you feel like God is speaking to you. And number 3 is give your fear to God. You shouldn't be fearing anything. If you're fearing anything, then it is from the devil. And you probably shouldn't be fearing it. You know, fear is going to lead you to miss out on opportunities that you need to take. And so I think it's really important to not live out in that fear. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not going to edit it. There's a lot of editing that I could do, but you know, part of this channel is me being raw and real, and I think this video I've been so real, so raw, about who I am as a Christian, what I believe in, just kind of lessons that I've learned this past year. Like I said, it's been a crazy year. It's definitely been a really rough year. But for 24, I'm hoping that this is a dreams come true year and another breakthrough year, because year 22 was a pretty good breakthrough year for me. So I'm hoping the same for 24. Hoping even numbers, and even 25. I don't know. I think 25 would be cool to be a breakthrough year too, but I'm hoping for a better year this year. And yeah, I woke up super early because I had to work this morning, but I did wake up and I journaled. I wrote down my prayers for the year, or I guess just for this year today, and what I hope for in the future. So I will be posting more videos. Comment down below what you would like, if you would like more faith-based videos, if you would like, I don't know how many recipes I'm gonna do. I mean, I can definitely do those every once in a while, but I definitely want to post more music. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys soon. Maybe I will post a vlog of going back to Liberty for graduation weekend. I know I leave tomorrow to go back, and I'm so excited. I can't even, like, you can't even see it on my face because I'm just so excited to go back. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.